news, everyone! A new social media platform where you're guaranteed to be censored. Threads. Sorry, did I say censored? I mean, your anger will be de-amplified. You're gonna have to de-amplify my anger, baby! I'm getting pretty furious! I feel better now I've been nice and censored. Hello there, you 6.5 million awakening wonders. What a voyage to truth and glory we are undertaking together, because we're staying alert, we're staying connected, we're continuing to communicate together. We're not falling into their traps, are we? Let me know in the comments if you're beginning to see that new alliances are being forged, new conversations are being had. And I'll tell you where we won't be having them. Threads, the land of censorship. Let's go on there and start experimenting with what you can say and what you can't say. It's amazing that Mark Zuckerberg has launched this new platform to rival Twitter, where it's almost guaranteed to commit the same kind of censorial atrocities that took place at Twitter and in other social media spaces in the era of the laptop and the once again taking place unobstructed by righteousness or any commitment to transparency. Let's have a look at this on the mainstream.
Mark Zuckerberg's company Meta has launched its new app that's expected to compete with Twitter, which has faced backlash under the ownership of Elon Musk.
Backlash from you.
The text-based app known as Threads looks nearly identical to Twitter and has seen more than 30 million users sign up since yesterday's launch.
Celebrities from Oprah to Kim Kardashian to Jennifer Lopez.
Ooh.
Already joining the app that looks fairly similar to Twitter.
Yeah, because it's mimicking it. Because what's happened is Elon Musk has publicly declared that they're not going to censor content on Twitter anymore. So they've recognized, hey, we can start a new site where we will censor content. This might as well be called Twitter that we're allowed to censor again. What I think is happening is hate speech and free speech are becoming conflated in order to facilitate the new category of misinformation, disinformation to justify censorship. And once that happens, it will happen arbitrarily, not arbitrarily actually, it will happen at the whim of the powerful. Already we know, because of Edward Snowden, the state and big tech are collaborating to share and exchange your information. The problem with Twitter is not, oh no, there's hate speech on there. The problem is he's not complying with their agenda. Just think about it for a moment. What do you think they really care about? Hate speech, yeah, you know, which is bad, we all know it's bad, or not complying with their agenda? Just reflect on it for a while and then let me know in the comments what answer you come up with.
Meta describing its vision as creating positive and creative space to express ideas, leveraging Instagram's more than 2 billion users.
A positive and creative space to express ideas that will decide which ideas remain out there expressed and which ones just disappear.
Posts on the app can be up to 500 characters long with links, photos, and videos up to 5 minutes.
This is promo. This is promo. It's on the news. They're promoting it on the news, aren't they? They're just saying Oprah Winfrey, Kim Kardashian, woo, more characters. That's because they don't have any principles. What they have is an agenda. They have an agenda instead of principles.
Elon Musk flew into a rage after the chief product officer for Mark Zuckerberg's Meta.
Saying that Elon Musk flew into a rage is editorializing. She weren't there. They don't know what Elon Musk's doing. It's just this is the way we're presenting the information. Elon Musk is hysterical and full of hate like his whole platform. Zuckerberg, he's candid, he's open, he's promoting creative open spaces. I bet you something else you'll see, that social media accounts of mainstream media pundits and organizations more generally are promoted and thrive in threads. You'll notice that.
Said their Twitter competitor, Threads, would be sanely run. An obvious dig at the Nazi-friendly dumpster fire Musk's Twitter has become.
Nazi-friendly dumpster fire. Now, remember, the use of Nazis and the evocation of the imagery and atrocities of the Second World War is almost a cliche for arguments that are running amok and going crazy. Once you associate someone with the Nazis, you're sort of saying we have the right to exclude them from the conversation. When in fact, what has happened to Twitter under Elon Musk is he said everyone's free speech should be protected no matter where they are on the political style or spectrum. That's not what the Nazis did. The Nazis censored and shut down all information, promoted certain ideas, obviously leading to horrific genocide and atrocities against racial groups and sexual identities. And even though what we're witnessing now, I believe, is a different kind of authoritarianism, it is about the control of information and control more broadly. And I think using that kind of language is very telling and indicative of the type of territory we're moving towards. Let us know in the comments which of these two facilities more resembles an ideology that's about control.
Zuckerberg's Threads launched yesterday, and it's looking like it actually has a shot of besting Twitter. In less than 24 hours, Threads had more than 30 million subscribers.
What are these apps actually doing? What is their policy when it comes to sharing information with the government? Look at how this is being covered versus how the Twitter files was covered. What was revealed by brilliant, credible journalists, Taibbi, Barry Weiss, Schellenberger, people who care about investigations and have this principle. Here's the information, you decide what you think about it. They don't editorialize except for rather elegantly drawing references to literature like Huxley and Orwell, who seem increasingly perspicacious and relevant. The mainstream media, nothing on that. Silence. This story, which is essentially promo, they burst out of the gate with 30 million. Woo, baby! Woo, we get to censor again. We can just dance naked in the sweet rain of censorship.
In an interview with The Verge, Instagram CEO Adam Mosseri calls Twitter a pioneer in the space, but says its volatility under Musk has opened the door for Threads.
It's not its volatility under Musk that has opened the door to Threads. It's the fact that they're no longer compliant in the same way with deep state agencies. FBI had agents literally working there. Payments were made. Information was extracted. True information was censored. Zuckerberg admits that. Zuckerberg's gone on podcasts, Lex Friedman's notably, and said, we censored information that we shouldn't have done.
Asked for a bunch of things to be censored that in retrospect ended up being more debatable or true.
Now, would you like to come onto our new platform? Of course, next time it won't be the exact same emergency. It'll be a slightly different crisis that facilitates and necessitates, in their view and words, I predict, the censorship. We can't platform these type of voices. Of course, it's very easy to highlight things that we all agree on. I think we all agree, don't we, that hate speech, racism, bigotry, hatred of people based on the way they identify is foolish, wrong, old-fashioned, history. Forget it, move past it. I urge you, I pray that you move past that craziness if it's something that lingers in you. But the ability to censor true conversations about scientific matters, experts sharing data that's contrary to the overt intentions now of the state and corporate interests, that is a necessity. What they are doing, let me tell you plainly, is they are recognizing that now, with independent media as advanced as it is, it's possible to propagate and disseminate ideas that contradict mainstream narratives fast. You can get a character like RFK, or perhaps even more notably, Donald Trump, bypass all of the gatekeepers of MSNBC, CNN. But what Threads is, no, we'll play ball your way. And that's why the mainstream media are playing ball with Threads. Let's look at this in more detail so we can decide for ourselves what we believe to be true, rather than being smashed in the face with lies like a big daft hammer with CNN written on it. Mark Zuckerberg, Meta's CEO, ushered in users with his inaugural post, "Let's do this, welcome to Threads." He described Threads as a friendly alternative to Twitter, an app that lets people indulge in text-based conversations with a 500-character limit and the option to share links, photos, and videos. Zuckerberg seems to be putting a lot of emphasis on keeping Threads congenial. Right, so congeniality, I predict this. The same way that safety is used to undergird state interventionism, we're doing this to keep you safe. We're doing this to keep you safe. Well, can't I keep me safe? No, we'll keep you safe. I don't want you to keep me safe. We're keeping you safe. And convenience is used when it comes to commerce and commodity. It's going to be so convenient. Give us all your data, then you'll just have to show your face and you'll walk straight in, right? That's safety, convenience, now congeniality. This is friendly. Let's unpack what they mean by congenial, just another word for friendly. What do they mean by friendly? Friendly to what and for who and for what purposes? Zuckerberg stated in a Wednesday post, the goal is to keep it friendly as it expands. I think it's possible and will ultimately be the key to its success. I use Twitter because it's part of my work. right? I don't use it like, oh, I wonder what so-and-so are doing. But the media class use it to promulgate, to propagate, to disseminate information. And they like it that certain information gets promoted and other information gets shadow banned, which we know happens thanks to the Twitter file revelations. And what they object to, I believe, is that they kind of lost their favourite space. It was a space they were in control in. Dorsey says it was wrong to ban Trump from Twitter.
Probably the right decision for the company, but the wrong decision for the world.
And of course it is. You can't ban Donald Trump, former president of the United States, while there's ISIS on there and neo-Nazi Ukrainian battalions. If hate speech is wrong, hate speech is wrong. Not, I like that hate speech, but not that hate speech. And it's very complicated. So in the end, you have to go, bloody hell, just let people work it out. Don't you? Do you? Let me know what you think in the comments. He candidly went on to take a swipe at Twitter, suggesting that its lack of success is due to its desire to support more free speech. I think there should be a public conversations app with 1 billion plus people on it, said Zuckerberg. Twitter has had the opportunity to do this, but hasn't nailed it. Hopefully we will. But of course, what Zuckerberg means when he calls for congeniality is censorship. Isn't that great? This is what this article is pointing out. Congeniality will be used to underwrite censorship. And isn't that exactly how things are going at the moment? Hello there. What you said wasn't very congenial. We're going to have to censor you.
You have 20 seconds to comply.
It's often said, almost to the point of cliche, that we were offered by great English writers of the last century two visions of the future. Orwell's brutal 1984 vision of overt authoritarianism, the jackboot, the prison cell, the torture, the rats, the room 101, the nastiness, Big Brother, and Huxley's more gentle, almost like iPhone aesthetic before it happened. Clean, smooth lines, people in pods, just gently supine under the influence of soma, a gentle, friendly, lovely drug, nullified, automated. What this system, and I think that social media networks like Threads are just part of it, I think they're designing it, is a vision of the future, not where like in Orwell's vision, it's a jackboot pounding on your face. It's you actually licking a jackboot, willingly loving the jackboot, a sugar-covered, friendly, congenial jackboot that you're licking like a lollipop. Let me know in the comments if you agree. On Thread's first day of operations, users already reported having their posts taken down, mainly for political reasons. Some accounts say they are being blacklisted or grey-listed. That's the only area where things aren't black and white, is the degree to which they censor you. When you try to follow a problematic person on Threads, you might be warned that their account has posted false information or has violated community guidelines. You have violated community guidelines. Welcome to the Gulag. Gulag? Sorry, I mean play park.
Oops, I said the quiet part loud and the loud part quiet. Oh, dear.
Censorship techniques that have been honed by Meta on Facebook and Instagram are already being zealously deployed on Threads. How many of you feel a sort of sense of personal disappointment that after seeing Mark Zuckerberg saying it was wrong for Facebook to censor true information, to hear that they're going to be using techniques honed during that period of draconian and interventionist censorship once more? Don't you feel sort of personally disappointed, or were you not so naive as me as to be pulled in by those testimonies to personal change that Zuckerberg made? Certainly many of the fiercest critics of Musk-era Twitter have been clear that what they want is more censorship. From the very day Musk took over last year, every inch Twitter has taken towards greater free speech has sent the Twitterati into spasms. For loosening up the rules on what people can tweet, Musk was accused of empowering fascism. For restoring the accounts of formerly banned users, he was accused of having blood on his hands. And for shaking up Twitter's verification system, for allowing ordinary people to get themselves a blue tick. He was accused of enabling disinformation and conspiracy theories. So low is the liberal elite's view of free speech nowadays that any rolling back of censorship is presented as a mortal threat to society. That's the fundamental idea here, and I think it's important, isn't it, to try to continue to identify what the underlying principle is. The underlying principle of censorship has to be, we know better than you what is good for you, and therefore we are going to control what you have access to. Of course, it's never presented like that. It's always like, there's these baddies, and the baddies are doing bad stuff, and don't worry, we'll deal with the baddies. Of course, you have to say that, but you deal with the baddies. They're not in your house. They're just on your phone. Like, oh, that's bullshit. Like, aren't you? We're capable of that, aren't we? Aren't we doing that all the time? I mean, aren't we doing that right now with this? Aren't we looking at this and going, oh, this isn't what they're saying it is. Friendly, Oprah Winfrey, isn't this going to be great? What they're doing is they've created a new space that they can censor because they've lost the ability to censor the last space. They recognise they can't control it. So, all right, let's just set up an adjacent space. That's essentially what's happening, isn't it? Let me know in the comments. This is what explains all the excitement over threads. The tweeting classes are desperate for a return to the censorious pre-Musk status quo. They yearn to be protected from the free expression of the masses. They want social media to be a safe space again. They want big tech to be their big brother. Meta is already too powerful. One company controls what much of the public is allowed to see. And if Threads succeeds, it will have 80% of the global market outside of Russia and China, according to one industry insider. Well, fortunately, there's no plans to go to war with Russia and China by proxy on spurious bases in order to diminish their power and conquer the whole world and achieve a kind of globalist superstate where everything is super friendly and super congenial. So friendly now since we killed all the Russian people. Yeah, isn't it? As such, it's reasonable to expect that Meta will censor precisely the same way the large news media corporations, including the New York Times and corporate advertisers, want it to. One of the things I learned from talking to Jack Dorsey is that he feels that he'd had no choice as the CEO of Twitter, because this is what happens, right? Like, you might think Jack Dorsey's the world's worst guy and love Elon Musk and all that. I don't obviously mind what you think in the privacy of your own mind, and I don't mind what you say down there in the comments, but this is what I learned from listening to him. He's the CEO. People say, look, advertisers are saying they want Trump banned. Look at what's happening to our value on the stock exchange. Oh no, it's going down. Right, ban Trump. Oh look, the value is going up. Cool. So the sort of market, as it were, is what controls it. But the market isn't like a weather system. It's not meteorology. It's not nature. It is reflective of things like confidence, ideology, and agenda. The market can be rigged and biased. Of course it can. That's how there are people that are brilliant at it. How do you think Paul Pelosi and Nancy Pelosi are operating? I don't know. That's just alleged. I've got no evidence of that. What I'm saying is the market is not an independent entity. It's a set of interests. And while there is volatility in markets and there are accidents in markets, it is representative of a set of interests and an agenda, wouldn't you say? So Twitter censored in accordance with market principles. What this is doing is saying, we will regulate to make this ultimately a space for advertising. I mean, why are they not saying that on the news? They go, oh, it's great, it's going to be friendly, free speech. No, it isn't. It's a place where censorship can take place and where advertisers can say, we're not going to find our post up against something we don't like, because in free speech, people say crazy stuff, like you do, like we all do. You think they're so perfect? You think they haven't accidentally said something that's dumb or stupid or hurtful? That's called being human. And I think that's what offends me most of all, is that they don't want us to be human. They want us to pretend to be something that we're not, to not have a shadow, to not have fissures of darkness and sadness and pain and remorse and regret running through each of us. But coming with that, the possibility for redemption, salvation, healing, new conversations. They want us frozen and ossified in this pose of piety that can never be real. So we won't be real. We will become like their app. Hello, I'm so congenial. Oh, that wasn't very friendly, was it?
You have 20 seconds to comply.
More censorship is what the mainstream news media, big corporations and their celebrity pitch people have been demanding. Meta's business model is about getting the public to spend more time online so Meta can profile us more and make advertising money. Full stop. For that reason, Threads has next to zero privacy protections, allowing companies to know one's location and consumer preferences. Full stop. Unlike Twitter, Threads collects data about health and fitness, financial info, sensitive info, and other data. Oh my God, it's literally worse than Twitter. It's worse, it's not better. In May, the European Union fined Meta a record $1.3 billion after finding the Facebook parent broke its privacy laws by transferring user data from Europe to the United States. Oh my God. The European Union had to fine them because they just transferred a bunch of private data from one continent to another. That's illegal. They do illegal stuff. It's very difficult because we don't know how to conceptualize something like data, do we? Because it's not like gold or oil. It's a more complicated concept. But as we advance and as we begin to understand this, we'll see how much power we've given them, and we'll see how they're misusing that power, and we'll see the way that they are doing it is by pretending it's for you. Threads isn't for you. If it was just you, they wouldn't bother to create it. It's for them. One of the oldest maxims of social media is, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. So you're the product. Even now while you're watching this, I know that there's programmatic ads in this. We know that we have commercial sponsors. We try to be responsible about the way that we deal with that. And we don't use your data in irresponsible ways. What we want is to create a movement of awakened, responsible, open-minded, good-hearted individuals that we can communicate with. And I see myself as being on that journey with you, no better than you, no worse than you, part of humanity with you, flawed, making mistakes. What they want is an anodyne, supine, congenial, genial, friendly, censored, shut down, market-friendly place that they can absolutely control. And according to that European Union fine, they're not worthy of that trust because they are abusing it criminally. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments below?